So I'm excited that the heroine is a Filipina heroine. And I don't know too much about the Philippine history other than that I believe it was a Spanish colony and then it got taken over by America very at the end of that Victorian period.
Mhm.
So anyway, can you talk to me about writing a Filipina heroine and what that means to you?
Yeah, it was very important to me. And if you think about it, if we look at the Victorian era, it's a very global empire. And, pirates obviously traveled the globe. And I guess the reason I wanted to write this character as a Filipina heroine is, not only am I one, but it is very plausible that I think we would have these type of people living in England at that time. I just wanted to show that, these people existed even before the Victorian era, even the golden age of piracy, and they're traveling the world. And why wouldn't you encounter more of these people, especially if you're a pirate? So to me, it's very realistic. And I just, like I said, wanted to show that those people existed at that time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I remember reading a book about an English voyage in the 1600s, and they were attacking Spanish galleons that sailed every year from Manila to, I think, Chile.
They
And
probably
so
sell
it's,
for gold, I imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Gold is.
So it's centuries and centuries of this European Filipino contact. And so it makes sense to me, just like you're saying, that there would be a Filipino community in England as well.
Yeah, and actually I should mention my third book takes place in the Philippines and at sea. So it's like that was really exciting to write because like I said, the whole series follows the Silver Order, which is a secret society that protects and seeks out ancient supernatural knowledge. So the third book is where you actually get the readers actually get to go on one of those expeditions. So that was very fun to write. And I did have to do some more research for that. Pre-colonial Philippines, though, is very difficult to find much research on. And a lot of it, because Jose Rizal, he was somebody who lives in the Victorian era who tried to study pre-colonial Philippines and kind of create a Filipino history that he said was, we had our own culture, our own history before the Spanish arrived. But he had to travel all the way to the British Museum to do some of that research. And a lot of the stuff that exists about pre-colonial Philippines was done by the Spanish. Our records are by the Spanish, our written records by the Spanish, even drawings by the Spanish. So, of course, there's a lot of bias in them. So that just adds to the difficulty. But like I said, I'm a lore person, and there's a lot of myths, a lot of Filipino myths that I, looked into, and of course, a lot of different versions. And I definitely fill in some of the gaps, but it was definitely really interesting and really fascinating to me. I will say that I discovered some depressing information about a lot of the artifacts that are displaced, and a lot of it is in the British Museum, of course. A surprising amount is in the US. Well, not surprising, I guess, because the US colonized the Philippines. But a lot of it's in like archival libraries, and there's even one in Chicago where I did like a thread about all these artifacts that are displaced. If anyone wants to look that up, it's also on my blog. But it's kind of sad that because we have such a history of being colonized, that a lot of our stuff has just been taken. And like I mentioned the gold before, because everyone wonders like what happened to all the Filipino gold that used to be there. Like some people say the Japanese have it, some people say the Spanish have it. So that is maybe another story, I think.